What is up, everybody? Jester here, and welcome back for episode 5 of Learning Minecraft. And as you can see, we're just wearing our normal Minecraft skin right now. We're not wearing any armor, and that's because by the end of the day, we are going to be in God tier diamond armor. Not netherite just yet. We're getting there, but we're not quite ready to do that just yet. In order to get that armor, though, we need a couple of things. The first of which is going to come from that structure behind us. That is a mob drop spawner that we've got that's fully AFK. It could be modified to be an XP spawner. I think a lot of people that have played Minecraft have seen this. We're going to talk about how that works. But the reason we don't need any XP, and it's kind of hard to see from this angle, but right over there, we have an armadillo XP spawner that really utilizes some of the mechanics in Minecraft, and I can't wait to show that off. In addition to all of those things today, we're going to talk about that monstrosity over there. That is a guardian farm that I took an existing design and I modified it to better fit my needs. And we also added a squid farm right next to it. It's like the world's smallest squid farm. It's really cool, and mechanically it's awesome. We're going to be using allays to collect for us. We have got so much to talk about. Let's get over to the lab and let me show you how that drop spawner actually works. To illustrate just how one of these mob tower type things work, I've made this extremely small and not to scale representation to show you the mechanics that are inside of this thing. And the first is you're going to be having a too tall area here where mobs can spawn. And then what we're doing is putting trapdoors along the edge that they think they can path onto, and when they do, they fall into a water stream that would then lead down to a hole that you would either kill them or they would die from fall damage, which is how we've got it set up. And we'll get out there and explain the difference here in just a minute. But there are some things you can do to manipulate what's actually spawning on your spawning platforms. Again, disregard the torch. That wouldn't be in there because you want total darkness for this to work. First of all, every 2 blocks you can put in carpets. This is going to keep spiders from spawning. This is going to help you keep the numbers of the mobs you're looking for up and not have spiders that can get hung up in one of these farms because they don't, operate like a normal mob would. Even if they fall down to where you're trying to kill them, they can just climb back up, and that kind of ruins your actual spawn rates. Number 2, what you can do is you can put trapdoors on the ceiling. Now, by doing this, it only allows 1 mob to spawn, and that's a creeper. So you could turn this whole thing into a creeper farm if you wanted to. We're probably going to build a whole separate creeper farm. For our particular case, what we did was we did 2 layers with all trapdoors and 2 layers without, meaning that we're trying to get as much gunpowder from creepers as we possibly can. But to kind of illustrate all the different drops and stuff we're getting, let's get out there and take a look at the setup. As we get out here closer to our structure, it's pretty clear to see where everything is at here. Each one of these sides is a spawning platform. There's 24 of them total inside of this 4-layer farm. This middle area is space, and then on the edges is where we've got the trapdoors for each one of these levels. And again, on the ceiling of these first 2 levels is where we've got the trapdoors at, so that we're only spawning creepers there. The other 2 levels are basically general mob type spawns. On the bottom part here, you see this little dip down. We have got our little water line going on all 4 directions. These run exactly the water length limit. So it goes from the edge right to the edge. That way we're not getting water down into our little kill tower here. And that's how that works. Another thing I want to note here is the reason that I wanted an ocean in the first place. I told you guys in the beginning, everything was going to make sense later, is because I've never built one of these over an ocean. I've always built them over land. And sometimes I've had trouble getting things to spawn in here, and that's because of the way that the mob spawns work. They start at the bottom of the world, and any spawnable block they will spawn before they get up to anywhere else. Putting this over an ocean limits the number of spawnable blocks underneath here to where they're going to be spawning a lot more in here. When you do it over land, you've got the possibility of a cave or just little tunnel systems and stuff that mobs can spawn in. You got to go down and manually light each one of those things up or fill them in, and that can become a real pain in the butt. Here, we're manipulating that mob spawn to go right in the tower where we want them. The way that it works, it's super easy. We have them fall down, and they land on these hoppers, which actually have soul campfires on top of them. We'll touch on that in a second. But as you can see, we're getting tons of drops here. And it's not just creepers, zombies, and skellies. We're also getting occasional chicken jockeys here. We are getting witches, which the witch spawns are weird to me. I thought they only spawned in the witch huts, but I guess that's not entirely true because they do spawn occasionally in the wild. But it's just weird that we are kind of getting them in enough to where we're actually making some free redstone out of it, and it's kind of nice. We have this set up on the one side, and then we have other hoppers running to this side, so we've got some overflow protection. For us in particular, though, what we could have done and the way that we've manipulated this, the fall limit for a mob, or for you for that matter, is 24 blocks. You fall 24 blocks, you're dead. Same goes for a mob. So what we've done is set this right at 24 blocks. Right here is our limit. This block right here would be the 24th block down. If we wanted to make this an XP spawner, we could have set it up here, and then we could stand up here with our sword. They would fall and be one hit because of a 23 block fall. This way, with looting 3, you'd probably even get more drops than we're getting right now, and you would be getting XP. But we don't really need the XP because I'm about to show you guys the armadillo spawner, and it's really, really cool. There's 2 things I love about this farm. One is everything we've been doing has kind of been leading to this. And number 2, this is one of the best manipulations of the mechanics in Minecraft I've ever seen. And I just love how this farm works. Remember back in episode 1, we grabbed a couple of armadillos, and then in episode 2, we made the spider spawner farm so we could have eyes to breed them. Well, this was what it was all leading to the entire time. This is the armadillo XP farm, and it works pretty simply. But it is kind of an advanced thing that you have to know how things work in order to make work. What we're doing basically is manipulating these armadillos to take damage by putting them on a fire. But when they take damage, we don't want them to die. And that's why over here, what we've got is a zombie with a name tag. And what that's doing is scaring these guys down into their little ball form or into their shell. And that way, when they're taking the damage, they're not going to get injured. But by taking that damage and using an infestation potion, we are then infesting the area around them to where it's going to be spawning silverfish. From there, at the back, we've got a water source that pushes the silverfish forward underneath this scaffolding. And believe me when I tell you, that trapdoor is the most important thing in this farm. Without it, they will get out, and anything stone around you will get infested. Trust me, it's happened to me. It is a massive, massive mess. We then turned a wood stair around, and then we put this trapdoor to where it faces up. This gives us just a little area here for the killing, and this is where we're going to get all the XP from. From there, we installed a dispenser. This isn't something I've seen on a lot of the different tutorials. And that's just for kind of ease of use, where I can load up 9 of them and we can do it over and over again. But to do that, we need the infestation potions. And that's where our little drop spawner out there came in handy with the gunpowder. To make the splash potion of infestation, we need 5 basic things. We need a glass bottle. We need a water source, which we've got here in our little bit of a potion making area. We're going to need nether wart, gunpowder, and stone. And we're going to do this in a particular order. So from here, we're going to come in and we've got these water bottles set up in our brewing stand. When you add nether wart to that and then move it over to here, you get an awkward potion. When you add stone to an awkward potion, you end up with a potion of infestation. And to now turn this into a splash potion, which means it'll, release upon coming out of the dispenser, we need a little bit of gunpowder. And that's it. That's all that it takes. But remember, we had to make that trip all the way to the nether to get that nether wart in episode 2. And this is, again, why we were doing it. And now I've made the ultimate sacrifice. You can see I've only got 7 levels. So now I'm going to show you just how powerful this farm really is. First off, let's start the fire. And this is going to get a little bit noisy, but there we go. Make sure that is closed back up. From there, we're going to come over to the dispenser. We're going to pop that in. We're going to back off a little bit. We're going to press that button. And then we're going to go to our sword. We're going to wait for these guys to build up a little bit. And then you're going to see that with the sweeping edge sword, we're able to take a lot of these guys out at once. And once the XP starts rolling, it starts rolling. And you can see we've already gained 3 levels in just that amount of time. This is a 3-minute potion. I'll come back right at the end here and show you what we got. And there you go. After 3 minutes, we got 30 levels. And I think that's a little bit weighted. It would probably be just a little over 30 levels if we started at 0. If we go to the next level and we did it again, we probably wouldn't get 30 levels because it takes a little more XP to get up to the next level. It's kind of like the weighted XP stuff. But still, 30 levels in 3 minutes is amazing. Now, when it comes time to turn this farm off, you can see we got one little guy that's stuck in there. He will eventually despawn. All you really need to do is come back over. You take that trapdoor down and you right-click with your shovel. That'll turn off all the noise. It'll keep your armadillo safe. But we can do this over and over again as many times as we want to. And we're going to need to because it takes a lot of XP to get us that God tier armor. And since we want to go over to that Guardian farm, it's a pretty dangerous place. Let's go ahead and get our armor all sorted out. And let's get suited up and go show you that. Now, before I show off my armor, I just want to mention that I love how one thing leads to another in this game. I've said it before and I'll say it again. When you do things in a certain order, you're rewarded with certain things that you get to do when the time comes? Has it been kind of cruddy walking around in just basic one enchantment type armor? Yeah, but I knew we were building towards this moment, and this is happy for me. You know, like we've got all of this organization, like I mentioned in the last episode, with our librarians. And now anytime I happen to have something bad happen, whether it be maybe we die to lava in the nether or whatever might happen where we lose our gear, it goes into the void in the end when that time comes, we can come here and quickly get everything put back together because we got all the XP, we've got all the trades, and we've got the ability to make way more emeralds than this. Hundreds, if not thousands of emeralds in a relatively short time. When it comes down to my choices with the armor, really nothing controversial here. I think this is pretty standard. I went with protection 4 over, say, the specific protections, just because I think it's more of a general use. We may put together a set that's got more fire protection oriented stuff to it for the nether when we go mining for netherite, but that's for another day. When it came to my sword, the only thing I didn't put on here yet, and I might, is knockback 2. Right now I don't have a bow, so I didn't really want to take ranged enemies like, you know, skellies or something and knock them back, and then that gives them more of an opportunity to shoot me. When we've got a good enchanted bow, we might well do that. For my pickaxe, I went with Fortune 3, Efficiency 5, and then of course Unbreaking and Mending. With the axe, though, I decided on Silk Touch. Reason is we're going to be doing a bee farm here pretty soon, and I can't wait. That's going to be a fun one. Hopefully that's automated. I've been looking at some videos. Hopefully we're going to be able to figure that out, and I can explain it so that I can build it. The auto crafting system on that is kind of interesting. And then on the shovel, I wanted a real basic shovel because I need to go out and gather a ton of gravel, ton of sand. And with gravel particularly, I didn't want a whole lot of flint. So that's kind of what we did, why we did what we did. And there's that. But with now all of this good stuff, we shouldn't have any trouble going out and showing you that Guardian farm. So let's get on a boat and let's get out there and brave the dangers. Before I get too far into describing this giant structure we've got here, I do want to mention I found this in a Shulkercraft video, but he ended up crediting a channel called Mind the Fab, and I went and found that video. So if you guys want to watch the original video from the creator that designed this, apparently that is who it is, and I will credit them as well since that is who Shulkercraft credited. We have modified their design, however, and I believe it does make it a little bit more efficient. First of all, what we're doing is underneath our little scaffolding platform is a giant area of soul sand. And what we've done here is create, when the Guardians spawn, they're going to be forced up from the air bubbles, and then they're trapped right in here. The water then flows towards the middle, which shoots them up a water column to where they come up, and then they will go up on some campfires that I'll show you in a minute, and they will pass away. The things you didn't see in the video that they made was the glass covering here. I think this actually makes it very much more efficient. I was finding a lot of them were falling out when I was AFKing at this place, and this is pretty much an AFK farm. Also, what we've done with this one is we've set up this giant, ridiculous hopper line so that if we come down here, you can see I've now got just all kinds of places where we can AFK here and not worry about running out of product for us to craft prismarine or sea lanterns or dark prismarine, and we'll get to how we're doing the dark prismarine here in just a second. But it is a really nifty, different type of farm, and it is pretty simple. I believe what they call it is the poor man's Guardian farm. There's no draining of the temple, which did seem like a very daunting task. There's no portals involved. It's just really simple. And since we had unlimited wood and stuff with the bamboo, the scaffolding and stuff really didn't cost us hardly anything. It was just a quick trip to the nether to pick up the soul soil. Let me go ahead and get up here. And this is the most dangerous part. You kind of want to do this during the daytime, especially if you haven't slept, so you don't have to worry too much about phantoms. But in the original design, it was just this little area up here, and they didn't even really have the AFK spot kind of defined. You really can't AFK at this spot because what we're going to be doing is manipulating the height limit spawn. Yeah, we're going to get a few of them that fall in here, and they'll eventually come down to these soul campfires, and they'll die, they'll make their drops, it heads down the hopper line to where we want it. Originally, it was all just right in here, and that's kind of not what we wanted because it was kind of a pain to go up and down the ladder and all that good stuff. But where it really starts getting interesting is way at the top. Let me get up there and I'll show you. And you might hear a little bit of whooshing there. I think it's wind. I'm not even sure what it is up here. We're somewhere along the lines of 128 blocks in the air right now. The original platform I showed you down there where the original kill chamber was is 44 blocks above sea level. We went a further 88 up, And what we're doing is manipulating the spawns. We're forcing those guardians to spawn down below us, and you can see them all in there now, going right into that kill chamber. Again, this isn't a super fast method for killing them or anything, but it is getting us all the drops we're going to need, especially as a solo player. I mean, even on a multiplayer server, a setup like this, I AFK'd here for, I believe it was like 3 hours, and I had 4 double chests plus ready to go of just stuff that we could craft. It's very much like the original 3 boxes that they said you needed. It wasn't very good for long-term AFK coverage when it came down to it. So that's kind of how this works. But we've also kind of added something else. Let's head back down now, and I'll show you why this is going to be an even better farm, because now we can make dark prismarine. All right. Okay, to show you guys this farm, we're going to end up taking a little damage here from the guardians, but this is a genius, cheap way of getting ink so that we can make dark prismarine with the black ink. All we need to do is find some allies, and in my travels, right over that way, over there is a pillager outpost where I found a few, and we were able to go ahead and breed them using amethyst crystal and a jukebox. So then we brought them out here and we gave them each a squid ink sack. And now what they're doing is they're coming over here and they're dropping them. The allies are being controlled by this note block that we've powered underneath there with the observer clock. It's really, really simple. And they're just feeding those into the hoppers, which then come over here and feed them into these boxes. And every time we go up an AFK, we can't see them doing it, but they are working down here because the guardians are killing squids. And otherwise, if we didn't have these guys set up here, it would just be going to waste. It'd be despawning. But this way we're getting it, and that's going to be part of that dark prismarine recipe. And again, let me show you guys. It's so incredibly simple the way everything works here. Let's get out of the boat. I've got some black ink here. If we want to make, let's say we want to make sea lanterns. We stand right here. That's your recipe for sea lanterns, and we craft. If we want to make dark prismarine, now we've got all of the shards that we're going to need, and we need 1 black dye, we can make dark prismarine. If we want to make just regular prismarine, there we go. If we wanted to make the bricks, there we go. This is a perfect farm where you're going to have all of these kinds of things that you're going to need going forward. And we needed a ton of sea lanterns, and we've got even way more than this, because I've already built another structure that I'm going to show you the outside of, but it's going to come up in our next episode. And as you guys can see behind me, I've been busy behind the scenes. We now have our version of a super smelter. It's not a very advanced one, but it's going to fit our needs, and I did kind of put my little twist on it. And then my crown jewel, my power plant, my kelp farm. I love the exterior building of that. We're going to talk all about that in the next episode. And I had a blast today discussing everything that we got done. We are really making some serious progress here in this Minecraft world, and I hope you guys are along for the ride. And if you are, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to try to put these out. We're going to be starting with this one that came out on a Friday. We're going to try to release everything on Fridays now. I feel like it's just better getting into the weekend that way. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. We got a lot done. We got all the mob drops we're going to need. We got all the XP we're ever going to need. And we've got access to sea lanterns, prismarine, and black ink. Man, good episode. Not to mention our armor is now almost god tier. We just need netherite, and we're getting close. And in the next episode, we're going to talk about that smelter, and we're going to talk about that power plant, and we're going to go fight a wither. But once again, guys, the sun seems to be setting. Time for me to go inside. Hope you guys had a great time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.